all you space engineers out there. Commander Kingfish here, and it is day 61 and on our mission to build a moon base, and we are done. We finished our moon base, so I thought today we would just go back over and see what we accomplished and how far we traveled. So I'm back at the outpost, as you can see, and so I thought this is where I would start. So I flew out here, and I flew in my one ship that I had that over at the moon base that I was using to do all my mining. So let's just start down here. We've got our solar array in, and it's down here, and it's set up on Izzy's solar alignment, and so it's been keeping the base going. The whole idea between this of having this base here was, in the beginning, there was going to be a lot of pirates. Keen then did a software update or a game update, probably about 6 episodes in, and pretty much kind of nerfed all of the pirates and whatnot. So we kind of lost out on having combat. But that was the whole idea behind having this outpost, was to have a fallback. So if we, ended up dying somewhere along the way, we could respawn back here, and we would have a basic facility to be able to get started with. We would have a mining ship, which, as you can see here, that's the mining ship. The platform has structure built into it, so it has supports, although we are in space, and so there's zero gravity, so I'm not sure if that's really necessary, but I always think that you need to have supports on any of your platforms and stuff. As you can see, this is Outpost 1, and you could land in here with a ship and be able to dock up. So let's go inside and see what we had here. We've got the platform. This is all set up. We have a refinery, and we have cargo control and stuff. This should be the basic assembler, which is kind of stuck in there, and it's connected in. We have all the piping and whatnot. So if we go inside, now this is not airtight out here, but if we go in here and we get here, this is airtight in here. So this is come in here and be able to have a place to kind of get settled back in and really kind of start over if we ended up into a problem. Obviously, we have the survival kit here so that we could respawn here. And so this is the outpost. And let me get charged up. So I had hydrogen engines for backup as needed, and we could turn those on. You can see our hydrogen tank is full. And this was the O2H2 generator, which would generate our oxygen as needed, and we've got an oxygen tank on this side as well. So it was all plumbed in and ready to go. So yeah, and then we had plenty of batteries and whatnot here at the outpost. It's not a full-blown base, but it was a place to be able to come and fall back on as needed. So this was the outpost, and so this was the first part of the series we spent getting this built once we got dropped off into space and flying out here. So let's go ahead and hop back in, and then we'll kind of start kind of seeing what we got. Let's unlock, well, actually, let's turn these on. Everything is full, and then we can unlock, and we'll kind of come up. Back out of here, and then this is a view from the ship, as we can see that we would be coming in. Now I didn't put an antenna on this purposely. I just had a GPS marking just to kind of keep it hid from the pirates. That was kind of the idea. And so as we can see, outpost 1. So I didn't know if I was going to be putting more in, but obviously that's one thing that you can do is put more outposts in, or we could have done that. All right, so with that, that's outpost 1. Let's make our way back to the moon base, and then we can kind of look at what we've got down over there. Let's see. So we'll just kind of get started here. Let's turn these off, and we'll just start. Now, I know I shouldn't be aimed at a celestial object, but we are going to know to slow down as soon as we start getting close. So once I get down to the moon base, and we'll catch back up with you there. Well, we've just entered the gravity well of the moon, and you can see the moon base off over there in the distance. Over there, well, let's fly over here first. This is where we did a lot of our mining, and we'll go over there and take a look at that. We had the gold mine out there, and we had our cobalt mine, our iron mine. So that's where we got a lot of our ores and materials when we first got here. And we can kind of see what we had. You know, basically they're holes in the ground. I think the interesting one was the gold mine, and that's what we'll go and take a look at, because we had to really kind of do a lot of digging out to get down to the gold, which we needed. I'm trying to remember. I know we needed that for upgrades and stuff, and I don't know if I actually did any upgrades, but I did need it for something. I just can't remember exactly what it was, what I needed it for. But yeah, this was our ore field over here. So we'll start kind of going down. See if we can keep from crashing here. That wouldn't that be something, the last day? So if we kind of start swinging around our gold. Yeah. This is our gold. And let me turn our lights on. As we get down in through here, I did a lot of excavating to try to get down to the gold. So what you had to do is come down and in here like this. And if we hop outside, and we kind of had to drop down. And, well, you can kind of see we had to go quite a ways down to get to the gold. And it was a bit tricky getting in and out of here, because I didn't completely excavate it all the way out. So we turn around, we keep going down. And we had iron deposits, a lot of iron deposits as we were going down. And I think if we kind of look down, and let's see if we can kind of get way down there in the bottom was where the gold was. Let's see if we can kind of get down a little closer. Anyway, I kind of digress from getting away from the base, but our gold was way down in here. So let's kind of back out. Let's go ahead and head back over to the moon base. We'll get parked over there. And it was a bit of a challenge getting in and out of here, but we were able to get get to our gold and get it mined out. Back a little more. Okay. Yeah, we had to go deep. All right, I think we're getting close to getting out of here. Up some more. Back a little more. Keep coming up. I think we are just, should be able to come straight up now. I think we're just about clear here. Excuse me. All right. Get back inside here. All right, let's head on over to the base. Where is it? Be over this direction. There we go. And we're just going to land on the platform. We're going to take a look at the ship that we originally started with. It is parked over here. It did a good job of getting us here. And this was interesting. Back to using a jetpack. I do a lot of my games down on the planets, and I usually try to do it without the jetpack. I think that just makes a bit more of a challenge, because I've been playing SE1 for so long that I have pretty much gotten it down pretty well. Now with the advent, as you can see over in Apex, the new survival update that was added onto that, all right, let's see, let's get this landed here. All right, let's come down. Are we fairly level? Let's go outside the cab. I think so. Let's come on down. And we can go ahead and lock this. We can turn the lights off. We can turn our hydrogen off. There we go. All right. All right. So now we're back at the base here. And this was the original spawn ship. I had a few things that I did to it. I added some extra storage to get started with. I added a basic refinery on here and I added an assembler, which allowed me to make a lot of the parts and really kind of get started. I added this ore detector and spotlight, which really helped a lot. I was going to do some more work on this, but once we kind of got here, I didn't really need to. I added these funky looking solar panels to kind of help keep it charged. So between the solar panels and the hydrogen engine that was already on here, I was able to keep this ship from running out of power. And so when we first got here, all it was here was I started with just a here, let me turn this off. Turn these guys off. There we go. I started with just nothing. So I decided to kind of put my base right here because it was close to the ice field over there. So I got basic assembly and production in, and I probably could have done a lot more with this, but I ended up with just the two refineries, and they pretty much did everything that I needed. I put in 4 assemblers, and so I was able to keep a lot of production going. If I would have probably put in Izzy's inventory management system, then I probably wouldn't have needed to do that. And I think in the future, what I would probably do is less assemblers, but I would also put the upgrade modules on them to take care of that. So I also put in storage. So I had the large storage tank for ores and stuff coming in. I also put storage down below. I put this big storage container in here for parts and whatnot. And I had sorters and whatnot to kind of sort and keep everything going the way it should. So this was for ingots over here. So ingots should have been going into this one and then coming out of here, as well as then being able to supply the ingots over to here. And then once the parts came out of here, they would the excess parts would then go into that storage bin there, which would be fed out to the rest of the base. So that was the production facility. And then I put in for my energy the solar panels, again using Izzy's solar panel array, but I think in the future I'll be using the turret controller. I think that's a little more efficient, because I think with some of the updates, that what I found is when you get in and out of the game, the torque on the rotors goes back to maximum, and by turning those down, that seems to settle out that violent shaking that you see when you first get back into the game if they have to move. I used capacitors, so I had plenty of backup power set in for the function. So this is a hydrogen facility. So one of the first things I did was set up a hydrogen mining process. And I put in this pipeline all the way over to the ice mine. And these the pipeline have lights on them, as you can see. So if we get over here to the actual ice mine, I set up a small facility over here, and this was set up to be able to mine the ice. I have this here is an ore tap, which is a mod that I added. So it would sit here and mine the ice. And so it looks like everything is completely full on the ice, so everything's kind of slowed down. But again, I have this being manned by my robot here, and so he's kind of sitting in here kind of looking. But this is airtight facility in here, so you can kind of see that we are pretty well set here. Again, this is just a small facility, nothing too extravagant. Right now, nothing's going on the LCD. So if we come out of here, and then we come back out, we put smoke towers in so that you can kind of looks like it's a functioning facility down here. And basically that's it. I put a turret in just for protection, just in case. So let's fly back to the main base. And that was a bit of a chore getting that pipeline in. I don't know if I'd do that same way again, but it did get it in and it did work, and so I was pretty happy with that. I might try to use hinges and whatnot to kind of straighten it out a little bit more. There is a pipeline mod that I could have used, but I was trying to stay away from that. I mean, I used quite a few mods, but I was trying to stay away from certain ones. So that was the pipeline all put into out there. So that was kind of the next thing. After I had kind of gotten this set up right here, So this is my hydrogen storage. And so it would be able to fill up the hydrogen ships. Now, so the next thing I started working on from here was an administration type building. So the pilots and stuff, when they came in, they would have this area right here to lounge in a little bit. Your administration portion was down here. I have a medical bay set up here. So we got the medical bay all in. Matter of fact, I think I will charge up right here while I'm at it. There we go. So yeah, this was a medical facility. And then this was also got to put a storage area in here, but I also put in a place for crew quarters and for visitors. So I built this all out in here. We have a series of accommodations down here, which gives you a place to cook and have your place to sleep and to relax and just to be able to live down here. And I put in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 10 of them upstairs, and then I've got 10 of them downstairs. So this is the downstairs portion. And again, the same thing's all set up down here. If we go back over here, I put in a second air control system in here so that this is all airtight. So I have this one here and then one up by the admin's facility. And so, yeah, this was the airtight facility down here. Now we can come out through here, and again, this is all airtight up through here. So after I got this built, and this is the second story, after I got this built, then I wanted to put in a lounge area, which is over and in here. So you have a place to kind of come up and relax. You have like a little bar, little cooking area, that sort of thing. You can kind of come up to the upper one, which I think turned out really, really well. I really like the way this has turned out, especially when the sun's coming up. You can kind of see out and over a lot. So you would see that whole sunrise coming up through that direction. Again, this is a lounge area. Games to play. You got Pac-Man, Space Invaders, Mortal Kombat 2. Over here, you've got a pool table and a ping pong table and more gaming consoles over here. A little wait area to relax in and a place just to kind of sit and kind of enjoy the view. So if we come down here, again, you have a airtight to get in and out of here. This is an airlock, which takes you outside, out through here. And then you also have that on the other side over here. Another airlock that has you to be able to come in and get access out over and in this area here. So that was the living quarters, and I was pretty happy with the way all of that came out. The next thing that I started putting in after that was landing areas. So this is for the small ship landing ports right in here when they come in. I built this out right here, and you have access to get over to the large ship landing port, which is over here. And so this is where the large ships would come in. I had I probably could have done a little better job on setting up some of these on and off to be able to get on and off your ships and stuff. So there was some other ideas I could have done that I didn't. I put in, this was like a parts shop. When the ships would come in, they could get parts here. This was the control center for the loading bays out here for the landings, and for that one over there. So they controlled all of that from right here. The other thing that I was kind of happy with the way I put in was if we kind of fly up, you'll kind of see, especially at night, the idea was that these set of lights would give you a way to kind of guide in to the landing bay. So you could kind of land in right over here. So that was the large ship, and this is where they could buy hydrogen and buy ice as needed from right over here. Then I think the next thing I had to start doing was putting in some base defenses, because there was another update done by Keen which put some of the pirates and stuff back into the game. So we kind of was able to get a little bit more opportunity for some combat. Not much, but we did get some. So I put in a turret right here that you could access, and it was all piped in to get up to the top. If you didn't have a jetpack, you would climb up this way, and you would be able to get up to the top to service the turret up here. It was kind of fortified a little bit. I could have put a little more decorations in up here, but this you could come up and service this turret. So I put this turret in, and I put a turret in over here. Where are you at? Right over here. So with the lighting and everything, I put this turret in right here. Same setup as the other one, and then I got a third turret in, I'll show you. But then you could access this. I've got the catwalks in to go down through here. And I do like the way everything kind of turned out. He really has that industrial look, which is what I was trying to go after here. So that turret is in place. This is where the hydrogen engines are all plumbed in and could provide power to the base as needed. And then if we come over this way, the third turret that I put in is out over here. I should have, but I didn't. I should have put catwalks along this over to get over to here, but this is all set up here. Again, it's all plumbed in so that any ammo that was produced, it would be able to pull its ammo in from the production facility. Then I put a stairwell in over here to get up to the top of this particular turret. And it took a bit to get up here. And we're almost there. A couple of more flights. So that was a bit of work. Now we're up to the top. And so up here I've got lighting and really kind of the main turret guarding anything that might come in. And these turrets actually work pretty well. They actually did have to take a pirate salvage, a couple of pirate salvage drones down. And then from here, the next phase which I am pretty happy with, actually. We did for a large ship repair dock. And this is all set in over here. This facility, as you can see, can handle very large ships coming in. Now, I built this ship over in Creative, and so it's a super tanker, and I kind of set it up on the design of a super tanker. So it would carry hydrogen, and we can take a look inside once we get there, but I kind of like the idea of the way I built the space dock here. You have connectors up here if you needed to connect up to it. You have connectors on the side right here. And then, of course, these a place if you've got landing gear that you can attach to right here. Now, we didn't connect this ship up to any of them, so I noticed, though, that must be my garbage cleanup, because I did have bits and pieces laying around, although I'm not sure why this one didn't disappear. This one is still here. I put this, unless it's attached. It must have ended up attaching, where these others I just kind of dropped. I had a couple of thrusters and stuff like that appears to have gotten cleaned up. So if we land here, and so this facility here was is the control area for the docking station here, the repair docking station. The pilots could come in here or relax a little bit while their ships are getting repaired. If it's going to be a long-term repair, then they could get a room over there in the living quarters and be able to relax while their ship is being repaired. And let's go ahead and get filled up with energy so that we can continue on. There we go. One more thing I want to kind of show you the view from. Again, all the doors, I put sensors on them. If we come over here, you can get access up above, and I got catwalks up above up here. And this is surrounded by barred windows that I use to kind of build the cage in and around the ladders. So we are almost up to the top. And so now you're up on the catwalk looking around. These are supports for the catwalk, so they're in place. I've got lights in so that there's plenty of lighting in and around here. You can see them up above. Those are the angled lights. And so I've got a catwalk on this side, and then I got one on the other side. And then we'll fly over on the other side, but you can access this the same way on the other side as well. So this is down to the end. And if we come over here, you got the same catwalk on this side. Although I had to all right, there we go. Let's kind of get landed here. There. So I wished I had a angled pipe going up, but I think that came out okay. So that's the piping up to the upper connector that you can have access to. Now I had to do a little bit different on the catwalk on this side to get around this connector that I put in place here. Now if you come down and look at this connector, most of these connectors are on pistons, so they're adjustable, so they can come down to the height that you need. These are on pistons here. You can see this one is raised up, and then it's just a matter of sending that piston out. So that's the repair docking station. The next thing right after this was the large ship refueling. So I set this up right here. This was for the super tankers to come in. So this is set up, and I put this on a piston as well, so that can be controlled and raised up. So the large super tankers that can come in, and then they can fill up with their hydrogen up here on the on this landing deck or landing pad out here. So this is for the large ship or the super tanker ships. The other one was the large ship containers, and then so this was for the very largest of ships. If we come down over to the side, I put the structures in place on this. So I like using the beams coming across because I think that gives it really a look of better supported. So it really looks like the building platform is solid along with the structural support that I put in on these. So I was really happy with the way all of this had turned out here. So so that was this this platform, and again, you can access it via catwalks here, and you also have a catwalk on this side that gets you down and over to the large ship landing area. And then the last thing that I put in place was the communications towers. So if we come down over here, we can kind of walk down through here. And so this was communication towers. So this is how you have access to the outside world from this base. We walk in over here. Now, this is just kind of a little bit more of a storage area. I did put the lighting in. I put connectors and piping and stuff. Again, that's a mod, so it just kind of gives it, looks like it gives it a connection to all of the wires that have to come out. I purposely left these undone because I think that gives you a better look of how you would see like a cell tower or some of the power lines and stuff like that. But I really do like the way this had turned out. I was really, really happy with this cell tower and communications tower. And I like the satellites that I've got in, and they're rotating like they would be spinning around. So this really was the last thing that I had put in. And I think, well, here's what we're going to do. You can kind of see what it looks like. Oh. If I turn my lights off, you can kind of see the lighting on the base. I got a lot of lighting in. So I think from the standpoint of some of this lighting and whatnot, you can kind of see how this all looks in through here. Just different ideas. I could have put some lighting along that walkway. This lighting turned out really well over here. Now, let's do this. We're just going to do a little bit of an admin trick here. And we're going to bring the time of day up so that we can kind of see this in the daylight. And then here's the base as a whole. Fly back. And again, I think it looks pretty darn good. I would be interested to hear what you all think about it down there. Please put it in the, please give me comments on it. See what you think of it. But you can kind of see the pipeline heading all the way off over to the ice mine, and then all the different platforms and facilities in here. So this is going to wrap up the Season 3 IMCA Intergalactic Mining and Salvage Company, mining operations for hydrogen. And the next, just to kind of give you what I'm going to be doing next is the Space Engineers 2 Alpha first foundations of survival have been put in place. So the next Saturday, I am going to be releasing those videos, and I'm going to start doing that as a series. So we'll kind of carry that along. There's a storyline in it, and so we'll kind of just do some base building. We'll follow along the tutorial to begin with on it, but we'll also do some side stuff. We're going to start building a base, that sort of thing, over in SE2. So I'm kind of looking forward to doing that. All right. Well, I think we have finally got this done. And so, with that, I think we're going to conclude the video right here. All right. Well, all you space engineers out there, if you like this video, please hit that thumbs up. It really does help out the video. And please subscribe. That really will help out the channel. Okay, engineers, keep your heads low, keep building away, and don't get shot. And with that, Commander Kingfish is out of here, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching, everyone.